Alright, the quotient rule, another way of taking the derivative but with fractions. So for the quotient rule, we take the bottom function, which is g of x, and we multiply it by the derivative of the top function, which is f of x. So g of x times f prime of x, and we subtract that by f of x, so the top function times the derivative of the bottom function, so f of x times g prime of x. And we take all of that and put it over g of x and square it. Now we do not take the derivative of that. So an easy way of remembering this is low d high minus high d low over the square of low. We're going to start with our first example. We are given x plus 2 over 2x. So x plus 2 over 2x. So our top function is x plus 2. And our bottom function is 2x. So we're going to use the low d high minus high d low over the square of low. So let's do that. So let's take the low, let's plug that in, times the derivative of the high, minus the high times the derivative of the low, which is 2x, all over the low squared. Alright, now we're going to take the derivatives, so we get 2x times the derivative of x plus the derivative of 2. The derivative of x is 1 plus 0, which is just 1. And we get x plus 2. And derivative of 2x is 2. Alright. All over 2x squared. Or 2x, yeah. Alright, now we're going to do some algebra. So 2x times 1 is 2x. And we're going to distribute over here, so 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 2 is 4. And we haven't distributed the negative yet. Now we're going to distribute the negative and multiply 2x times 2x in the denominator. So negative 2x and negative 4. 2x's cancel out. We're left with a negative 4 over 4x squared, which is just, those cancel out to be 1s. So it's just negative 1 over x squared. That is your final answer for example number 1. Moving on to example number 2. We are given 2x squared plus 3x all over x plus 2. So our f of x is 2x squared plus 3x, and our g of x is x plus 2. So we are going to take the derivative by using the quotient rule, and we get the low d high minus high d, if I can fit this, low is x plus 2, all over square of low. Or this, yeah, the square of low. Alright, so now we're going to take our derivative. So the derivative of 2x squared is just 4x, and derivative of 3x is 3. We're going to subtract that by 2x squared, the parent function, and take the derivative of x plus 2, which is just the derivative of x is 1, derivative of 2 is 0. It's just 1. And all over x plus 2 squared. Now we are going to distribute and FOIL this right here. So x FOIL to 4x is just 4x squared. 2 to 4x is 8x. 3 to x is 3x. And 2 to 3 is 6. And we're going to distribute the negative to those two, so it's negative 2x squared minus 3x all over x plus 2 squared. And now we are going to use algebra and simplify the numerator. So we're going to get our x squareds. So 4x squared minus 2x squared is just 2x squared. Then we are going to get our x's. So we have 3x minus 3x, those cancel out, and we're just left with 8x. So we got 8x and plus 6. All right. And x plus 2 squared in the denominator. All right, so now we're going to take it a step further. Can't talk right now. And we are going to factor out a 2 in the numerator. So we're left with x squared plus 4x plus 3 all over x plus 2 squared. And this turns into x plus 1, x plus 3 all over x plus 2 squared. And that is your final answer. So for example number 3, we're given the problem x plus 2 to the 4th power all over x squared plus 3 to the 1/2 power. So what we're going to do here is the same as the other problems. We're going to start with the quotient rule. So when we take the quotient rule, or the derivative, we have the bottom times the top, derivative of the top, minus the top times the derivative of the bottom. All over the bottom squared. So when you multiply the exponents, 1/2 times 2 just becomes 1, so the exponent for the bottom is just 1. Alright, so now we're going to take the derivative. And we use the chain rule. So we move the 4 to the front, keep what's in the parentheses, make that a 3. And now we're going to take the derivative of what's inside the parentheses. So the derivative of x is 1 and derivative of 2 is 0. So 1 plus 0 is just 1. Now we're going to subtract that by the other side. Take the derivative, or the chain rule. That becomes a negative 1/2 because 1/2 minus 1 is negative 1/2. And we multiply that by what the derivative of x squared. So that's 2x. All right, and that's all over x squared plus 3. All right, next step, we are going to keep that the same. First term the same. Oh, we can move the 4 to the front actually. And leave the other term. And we're going to move the 1/2 and the 2x to the front. Can't even see that. The 2's cancel out, and you're just left with a negative x in the front. And that's all over x squared plus 3. Alright, so I ran out of room, so we're going to move to the next board. So we're going to leave off where we left, right there. Alright, so let's see. So we're going to take out, we're going to factor now. We're going to take out 3x plus 2's from this side and 3x plus 2's from this side. And we're also going to take out a negative 1/2 x squared plus 3 from both. So I'll show you what that looks like real quick. So first we're going to start with the x plus 2's. We have 3 of those. And now we're going to have negative 1/2. So 1/2 minus negative 1/2 is just 1. So that becomes 4 times x squared plus 3. I'll write that out. So we take our factors. I'm going to put it in brackets, and we have 4 times x squared plus 3 to the 1 power minus x plus 2 times, let's see, oh, we already factored that out. Okay, so that's the end. Close the bracket, and we put all that over x squared plus 3. Now we're going to move our negative exponent to the bottom. So in the numerator, we're left with this. And we're going to distribute the negative all over x squared plus 3 to the 1/2 times x squared plus 3 to the 1, but I can make it a 2/2 because it's the same as 1. And I'm going to rewrite that one more time. So x plus 2 cubed times 4 times x squared plus 3 minus x squared minus 2 all over, and if we add the exponents, we have x squared plus 3 to the 3/2. And that is your final answer. Oh, I left it out and it got dry in like 2 seconds. I need some moisture. Okay, so for example number 3,